Many thanks for staying with us. I am Justin Akadonye. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari says efforts of his administration are geared towards easing the economic hardship encountered by the citizenry. The president was speaking at the launch of the book, Making Steady Sustainable Progress for Nigeria's Peace and Prosperity, at the State House Conference Center. The 360-page book, written by President Muhammadu Buhari's team, highlights the accomplishments of the current administration in the last 2 years. The president also revealed government's resolve to ensure release of the remaining Chibok girls and others held hostage by the Boko Haram insurgents.
Not thank Nigerians enough for your prayers and messages of goodwill during my health vacation. I can only repay you by resolving to work with every ounce of my energy to protect your interests.
Investing heavily on rail, roads, power, and other infrastructure, especially when you look at rail. We're investing perhaps the largest portion of our capital on 2 rail projects.
In his remarks, the former governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubu, said the mileage covered by the administration in the area of security, anti-corruption and the economy in the last 2 years is in tandem with the expectations of Nigerians. He, however, urged Nigerians to be patient with the Buhari-led government since, according to him, has policies that will lift them out of poverty.
Responded when states were unable to pay workers' salaries. They saved tens of thousands of families of civil servants from wallowing in despair and poverty. I call this type of responsive government we need.
Northeast Development Commission. And everywhere he went, he highlighted, including, unfortunately, the misinterpreted, misread, mistranslated statement he made at the World Bank about the need for attention to be paid to the development in the Northeast. Again, what is his concern? His concern is that these Nigerians who have suffered for so long, everything should now be done.
Tinubu blamed the immediate past administration for the woes of the country, but assured that the situation will improve with the strides of the APC-led government in the last 2 years. His position was corroborated by the book reviewer Tony Momo and other stakeholders.
No one said 348 or so. If you come from page 1 to the last page, is 360 pages. I read every one of them, looked at all the photographs, and arrived at the conclusion that it is a fact book.
And as a member of the transition committee, I can speak of your heart and passion for moving this country forward and giving to our fellow countrymen and women the good things of life in an equitable and just manner which they truly and rightfully deserve.
Let us learn to call a spade a spade. When last did any bomb detonate in Abuja?
Well, moving on now away from that. The Senate has fixed Wednesday and Thursday next week to begin debate on the 2018 budget proposal. Making the announcement at the commencement of Thursday's plenary, Senate President Bukola Saraki called on his colleagues who intend to make contributions to write down their names as indication of interest. Now, shortly after plenary, the Senate spokesperson, Senator Sabi Abdullahi, gave journalists further details on the next week's budget debate.
Is the very fact that today we have agreed, and it has been announced, that we are starting the debate for the second reading of the 2018 appropriation bill. And this is significant because the bill was laid about how many days now? Over a week ago by Mr. President.
Galaxy's Godfrey Ishomage reports that the 2018 budget estimate, which would be committed to the Senate Committee on Appropriation, is the third one to be debated by the 8th Senate since its inauguration on the 9th of June 2015. Staying on the National Assembly, meantime, the Senate President Bukola Saraki says it is crucial that there be an enabling law to rid the nation's real estate sector of fraudsters who present themselves as estate agents. Senator Saraki made this position known while presenting his speech to declare open a one-day public hearing on a bill for the regulation and development of real estate. The Senate President, who was represented by Senator Philip Aduda of the FCT, said, owing to the vast investment opportunities abound in Nigeria's real estate, there is the need for a legal framework to regulate it.
Over the years, with some states outlawing the activities of several of these persons who disguise as property developers.
Earlier, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Barnabas Gemade, emphasized the need for a robust law to ensure sanity in the real estate sector. The bill, titled Real Estate Regulation and Development Bill 2016, when passed into law, seeks to protect the interest of consumers and developers in the real estate sector.
Professionalism has not been enthroned in this sector, which has never thrived over the time because it has been bedeviled and infiltrated by fake and unregistered promoters and sometimes near charlatans.
And away from the Senate, we'll move on next now to the lower chamber. The House of Representatives has urged the Armed Forces Council and the Ministry of Defense to hold the alleged plan to stop the admission of competent female cadets into the Nigerian Defense Academy. The House also urged the Council to increase the number of competent female cadets admitted into the Academy yearly. These followed the adoption of a motion by Omosade Igbenedion by the House. Igbenedion noted that in 2011, the Nigerian Defense Academy for the first time admitted 20 female cadets into the regular competent commission to afford them the opportunity to aspire to head any arm of the military in future. The lawmaker pointed out that Section 42, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution prohibits discriminatory practices against any person on the basis of sex.
And empowerment of women, which also coincides with the Agenda 113 of the 7th session of the United Nations General Assembly of 2012.
That females are no longer going to be admitted to the Nigerian Defense Academy to pursue the combatant part of it. So women have started resisting. So men are joining too. That will be demonstrated by the votes when we take question on the motion.
In his ruling, the House, presided over by Deputy Speaker Yusuf Lasso, mandated the committees on Defense, Army, Navy, and Air Force to investigate the matter and report back in 4 weeks for further legislative action. Moving on and staying on the House of Representatives, the House has resolved to investigate the non-release of the balance of 1.1 trillion naira national economic empowerment strategy that needs intervention funds to the federal universities in the country. Honorable Samuel Ikon, in a motion on the need to investigate the failure of the government to release the funds, recalled that the schedule of disbursement was given as 200 billion naira for 2013 and 220 billion naira each for 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017 and 2018, but noted that till date only the initial 200 billion naira had been paid, leaving the balance of 1.1 trillion naira yet to be released. ICANN also noted that beside the intervention funds, the federal government also agreed to release a sum of 55 billion naira on quarterly basis into a dedicated account at the Central Bank of Nigeria for the needs assessment project all in a bid to nip in the bud the recurrence of industrial actions in the universities.
Notes that the federal government at a meeting with the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, the Trade Union Congress, TUC, and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, on the need to revitalize public universities, resolved to release the sum of 1,300 billion naira only, aside annual budgetary allocations and regular tertiary education trust fund, debt fund intervention.
The House, in its resolution on the motion, therefore mandated its Committee on Tertiary Education and Services to investigate the matter and report back within 4 weeks. Still ahead, Governor Akinwumi Ambode, and back here in Lagos. Now, Governor Akinwumi Ambode has identified seamless port operations as a condition that will enable permanent resolution of the Apapa gridlock. Speaking at the second edition of Lagos Corporate Strategy tagged A+ Meet Business, a forum organized by the state government to interact with members of the organized private sector, OPS, as well as small and medium-scale enterprises held in Ikeja. The governor said concerted efforts must be put in place to address the issues that gave rise to the crisis, which were more about port management. He said coal-up system for tankers and containerized trucks must be structured to eliminate the present chaos, while issuance of licenses for more tank farms in the axis must be put on hold.
You know, that trailer park, just opposite the thing camper, that can take like 2,000 trucks off the bridge. It's in my best interest to do it. At a time in 2015 or there, we're going to pay the contractor, but again, you know the issue of, is it your contract, this and all that. So sometimes you fold your arms. 2 years after, stay there.
Earlier, President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Nika Akode, Chairman Ikeja branch of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MEN, Francis Mishoye, and Chairman Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASME, Lagos State Chapter, Dr. Solomon Aderoju, commended the governor for the various laudable initiatives in the state. The need for the federal government to use recovered stolen assets judiciously and invest in things that would impact the lives of Nigerians was also stressed. This was part of the submission by stakeholders. Well, moving on and staying here in Lagos. Well, the need for federal government to use recovered stolen assets judiciously and invest in things that would impact the lives of Nigerians has been stressed. This was part of the submission by stakeholders at the national seminar organized by the Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project, SERAP, in collaboration with the Ford Foundation held in Lagos. Details in this package. The seminar tagged Promoting Transparency and Accountability in the Recovery of Stolen Funds in Nigeria, Proposals for Reform, x-rayed the importance of adopting new pattern in recovery of looted funds. Guest speaker Femi Falana's son said the law is not as neutral as it is being projected, stressing the need for everyone to be treated equally before the law. He disagreed with a comment that corruption is the major problem Nigeria is facing.
My conclusion is that we speak about corruption as if it's the root cause of our underdevelopment. And my friend Mr. Common made the point now, and I hear this from the government all the time, corruption is the root cause, is the problem of Nigeria. No! Our problem is the ideology of neo-colonial peripheral capitalist system.
The senior lawyer urged Nigerians on the importance to join the federal government in fighting against corruption.
We must, on our own, take the battle from the government. We must own the fight against corruption. That is the only way it can succeed. But if we make it the business of the federal government alone, yes, the government will do its own level best, but it won't be enough.
Earlier, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, reaffirmed the efforts of the federal government in recovering stolen funds. Malami, who was represented by Special Assistant to the President on Financial Crimes, Abiodun Aikamo, said government is already talking to other countries' governments on the looted funds.
The reason why we are not where we should be as a country, there are so many reasons that is responsible for it, but chief amongst it is corruption. That is why we have remained a nation of potentials, and we have not been able to move from potentials to reality. So the government of the day is seriously committed to the fight against corruption.
The executive director of SEREP, Adetokunbo Momoni, and some of the invited guests underscored the need to join in the anti-graft war and for governments to use the recovered looted funds judiciously.
There should be structured, organized method for asset recovery, a patterned method that to us will make it easy and they all need to follow up so that there will be pure accountability and transparency in all the process. You see, when you say you recover money and there is no organized method of recovery, there is no pattern way of saying this is the way you deal with recovered fund, there is no pattern way of saying this is where you keep the recovered fund, and this is the way it is monitored. And that is why we think we should organize this.
Do that, Aliza, via these seminars, through moral associations, through proscription, and I think we need to enforce, Aliza, our law. We need to have the courage, the political will to drive all these acts, to enact, to make these laws workable. The enforcement is very important with this aspect. We need to, so that, Aliza, we can encourage our people to live transparently.
The stakeholders, however, stressed the need to promote transparency and accountability in the recovery and management of stolen funds. Moving away from Lagos, we'll go back to Abuja. The Abuja Division of the Federal High Court has fixed December 8 to deliver judgment in a suit filed by Patience Jonathan, the wife of former President Goodluck Jonathan, against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In the suit filed before Justice John Soho, the former First Lady is asking the court to make an order for general damages and compensation in the sum of 2 billion naira against the EFCC for violation of a fundamental right. Citing Section 37 of the 1999 Constitution, Mrs. Jonathan says the actions of the anti-graft organization and the negative media publications amount to harassment on her person, describing it as degrading. However, the counsel to the EFCC urged the court to dismiss Mrs. Jonathan's application for lack of merit. Similarly, Justice Binta Nyako has adjourned till November 23 to hear another suit filed by Mrs. Jonathan against the EFCC on the alleged forfeiture of her properties without conviction by any court. Away from that, we'll go next to Ogun State. Well, the State Police Command has extended the hand of partnership to Liquor Sellers Association through a seminar organized to educate them about their roles in enhancing security in the society. Speaking on the essence on the partnership, the Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Ilyasu, says most of the crimes committed in the country started from bars and pubs where the hoodlums hibernate and strategize. On her part, the leader of the Legal Sellers Association pledged that the body will continue to work with the government agencies and ministries in order to have a peaceful and healthy society.
Therefore, you have to strategize with various sectors of the society. And this is what we are doing with the Legal Association, because that is the place for the takeoff of any criminality. Somebody has to has an influence of some amphetamines and other drinks before they can undertake in any crime.
All the criminals, before they go out on their mission, they used to branch in this people's arena, so that if we have their cooperation, if they see something that is not good, they will just, with the confidence, they will just pass it to the appropriate quarter.
And don't forget, most of these beer parlors and drinking joints, they still have appendages. They have those that usually stay beside them to sell hemp and some other things. So this one is very, very important and unique in the sense that it will sensitize them. They know what to do.
So we are partnering with the government, Ministry of Health. We are partnering with them. Then with the we very, very cooperate with the police.
You're watching the news coming to you from Galaxy Television. More stories on the local, foreign and sports scene.